Bannock County Commissioners are in session. This is a hearing of the Board of Equalization under Idaho Law 63501. The Board of County Commissioners are required to reconvene as BOE. We are here to determine market value under Idaho Code 63205. All real, personal, and operating property subject to property taxation must be assessed annually at market value for assessment purposes as of 12:01 a.m. of the first day of January in the year in which such property taxes are levied. So, if you would swear in the participants. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I would move that we go into, or enter into the Board of Equalization.
We have a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that any testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. So, let's start with, looks like RPRCBPT001301.
Is that the Scott Harris? Oh, that's an ISU one.
Yeah. So this property is one that we turned down. And the response is here from Idaho State University and the state of Idaho saying that they utilize this property 100% for a Bengal pharmacy. And after sending this through Brian, our attorney, they are entitled to that. And this is 100%.
So just to make sure I'm clear, Mr. Chair, if a third party leases or rents a parcel to a state entity such as Idaho State, they're entitled to a tax exemption on that property.
That is correct, if they're using it for education.
For educational purposes.
Not specific.
And that is with Idaho Code 63-602B and E, is what that looks like that's tied to.
Yes.
Okay.
Questions? Nope.
Mr. Chair, on parcel RPRCBPT001301, I move that we grant the exemption as requested.
We have a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, next parcel is RPRMHTM003900. And this one is also, this is actually the Harkness in McCammon, that they had the pharmacy in part of it. And so it's a 4.7%. And tomorrow we have the Harkness coming to talk to them. So by reading this, it looks like they have an exemption for 4.7%.
For the area that they occupy.
The pharmacy,
Yeah.
which would be the same as this other one. Any questions?
Nope. Mr. Chair, on the parcel as stated, I move that we grant the request for the tax exemption based on the educational use.
We have a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The next parcel is RPCPP 053 or 053001. And this one, they're claiming 1.6% of this facility for storage. And honestly, in this one, I would deny it and send this one to the state if they want to. I don't feel like it's education, it's a storage unit. And I don't want to start open this up for every storage unit. People want to claim, I want to get an answer from the state. Questions on that one?
No, in reading through this one, Mr. Chair, I had some similar concerns. I don't know how a storage unit necessarily it facilitates education. So on parcel RPRPCPP 053001, I would move to deny this request.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that brings us to parcel RPRPCPP. They look pretty close. 053001. Oh, I guess they are the same parcels, but it's a Suite 5 and a Suite 5 Bays 6 and 8. So this is another denial, in my opinion, the same way. Same parcel, but
Yes, again, still a storage unit. So, Mr. Chair, I would move on parcel RPRPCPP 053001 that we deny based on lack of educational use.
we have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that brings us to the Pedersen family. And parcel.
Got the parcel number?
Yeah.
This is an S6-T106 or 10S-R38E, Lot 5, Block 3.
Okay.
Is that jive? No?
Not the parcel number.
Oh, that's what they put on here.
I think that's the section and township number, which sometimes gets. put in that
Yes,
space.
sorry. Parcel number is, right there it is, yeah. RRSPC 003800.
Comments on this one?
Those are good friends at Lava Ranch.
Do you guys have anything for this one?
And all they did is circled that there was an increase. This is 9.6 acres, land only. The value went from 111,000 to 154,000. But throughout the county, land values have been adjusted.
Yeah, one of the studies that our office conducted this year was on these more rural properties. Some are recreational, some are subdivisions, and one of the things they found is with these rural residential land pieces, they're going for substantially more and more every year.
This is in the Lava Ranch area, isn't it?
Yes,
So this is consistent with what we've done in Lava Ranch in the last couple of years, correct?
yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. And this is the first time we've heard from them. I don't remember seeing this one last year. Okay.
And on their explanation or their statement just says that the assessment for 2024 is out of control and needs to be reconsidered. There's nothing there that they've sent us in to a preponderance of evidence as so being. So, any comments?
Nope. No, again, I think the staff has done a good job providing backup information to support their findings. So, Mr. Chair, on the parcel as we're discussing, I would move to deny the request.
We have a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next we have Scott Harris.
Have you guys spoken with him?
We have not spoken with Mr. Harris this year. When we received the appeal for the 3 parcels, we took a look through those, and just going based on how they were submitted in, the first parcel RPRC HAS 000101. That property is currently operating as a daycare. And when we reviewed that one, we had it listed as just general commercial. And so when we took a look at it and tried reclassifying it as a daycare, that actually would lower the value of the property down to a total of $881,619. So that's down about $60,000. And so our recommendation was to lower that one down to that amount. I've got it split out in our document as far as land and improvements. And do we want to just kind of go through them all before, or do you guys want to?
Let's go through one parcel at a
Okay.
time so that it's on the record exactly
Okay.
what we do with each
Yeah,
one.
so on that one, our recommendation would be to lower it down to that total of $881,619.
And you're taking that off the improvements, correct?
Yeah, that would be, it would leave $118,900 on the land, and the improvements would lower to $762,719.
Just a question on land in general. I know a couple of years ago you started working on that land equalization throughout the county and different zones. Did that apply to the commercial properties as well, or did you leave the commercial properties out here to work on at a later time with the land specifically?
Yeah, so with the commercial land, we did do that independent of the residential. It started with, I believe, 2 years ago, when we started with the Yellowstone corridor.
Right.
Looking for those properties adjacent, right there with frontage on Yellowstone. We have since expanded. We keep expanding out, looking for where does it make sense to build kind of a customized commercial land schedule. And then we have areas in the county that it's been difficult to keep up with what the sales are doing without having some substantial increases. So when we looked at commercial land overall, there are pockets that are going up quite a bit more than the normal, but overall we saw an increase on all commercial land throughout the county.
Okay, so as I look at that, then I go back and say, like on this particular property since 2020, the land value has not changed. So is that particular area one of those pockets that you feel hasn't had much of a change?
It could be, let's see, I don't have the land schedule in front of me right now, but this one may also have been kind of wrapped up into all of the redevelopment that was going on in that area of let's see what's going to happen. And the other part is when those land parcels start to change hands, that's when we're also trying to find out if we can get buyers and sellers to tell us what are they trading for, to get an idea on if it needs to be adjusted.
Further questions?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, a motion on that one.
Mr. Chair, I would move that we accept the assessor's the assessor's recommendation and change the property value down to $881,619 with the adjustment coming off of the improvements.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next parcel.
I have that as the RPRP POP 000100.
Okay.
This is a commercial building up on Call Creek Drive, just off of Pocatello Creek Road. And when we took a look at this parcel and we cast a wide net to look at the entire office park there, we actually found this one to be relatively undervalued. On the next page in your packet, we actually broke down all of the properties in the Pocatello Creek office park. And we have the top 3 properties that are all shaded in, ending in 100, 200, and 400, with 100 being the subject property. All 3 of these parcels were built at relatively the same time. The one ending in 200 actually was built at the same time by the same developer and is a very similar square footage. But we find the subject property to be undervalued at a rate of about $10 less per square foot than its nearest peer. So as we took a look at all the properties up there, for office buildings, we found the average assessment to be $108 a square foot, whereas the subject property is only coming in at $81 a square foot. With a property that has been appealed in recent years, we're always looking for what details do we know of the building and what has changed since that time. And with this one, what we found is it looks like it could use an interior inspection with owner's permission to see, is there anything that substantiates it still being valued lower than all of its peers in that office park. So far, we don't have any data to support keeping it that low, so we certainly would recommend, at least for this year, we uphold the value, and as soon as we have the opportunity and permission from the owner, we'll try to get in and do a site inspection to see how it is compared to its peers.
Okay, any questions? Motion on that parcel?
Mr. Chair, on parcel RP, RPPOP 00100, I move that we accept the assessor's recommendation and leave it as is.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Right, and on the third one, parcel RPRPTHD 000-300, this is an office property suited for office and medical up on Hospital Way. This one was the opposite direction. When we valued this one against all of its peers in its business park, we found this property to be overvalued. I dug into the details of all of the surrounding properties to try to ascertain why, and what we found is prior contractors that we had help out when we drew these buildings in, they did not represent any finish on the walkout basement levels for any of the properties except for the appellant's property. So they are being valued at market, but none of their peers around them are. So our recommendation is actually to lower this one to be equitable with all of its surrounding properties. And if we were to do that with our calculations, we would actually go with the appellant's requested amount of the $1,412,023, and that would be $480,220 to the land and $931,803 to the improvements. And then this whole area will be analyzed and corrected for next year.
So forgive me, I'm a little slow, but you're saying that the team that evaluated this prior to this marked it as more finished than the competitors?
Yeah, so every building in this little complex, it has full professional office and medical use on both floors. Typically, the basement floor is a walkout on one side, and they're all operating as such. And so when they were previously drawn in, this particular property had the basement accurately described as having all of those amenities and finishes throughout. The other buildings were not, which effectively valued the basement levels on the other buildings as an unfinished basement.
And we haven't been back to verify that, that's what you're talking about?
Yes,
doing
and
this
so
next year.
it was actually the appellant's request for appeal that kind of sparked that, because when we look at that area and we say, how are you valued in relation to all your peers, we saw that discrepancy. And so you start digging into detail saying, what caused this discrepancy? Are they high? Is everybody else low? And in this case, everybody else was low. But we felt in the sake of equity, we can put them in the same boat for this year.
okay, questions?
There's a part of me that says, why not bring everybody else up? Because I'm assuming that they're all gonna be finished on that lower level in conjunction with each other. So help me through your rationale of saying, no, we're gonna bring you down, which I don't necessarily disagree with, but help me with that rationale between not bringing everybody else up versus bringing them one down.
Part of the rationale would be that to raise them would also require sending out an official corrected notice, which also resets all the appeal times for those properties. And so historically, we have not raised properties during that pre-BOE window when we find those corrections. We don't find them a whole lot, situations like this, but in those, we have not, at least in the last few years, attempted to raise those.
Okay. All right.
We did that a few years ago at Northgate, and it kind of extended BOE, and it
Yeah.
created some
I
problems.
just want everybody to understand why we're doing what we're doing, that administratively, it makes more sense to do it this way and correct it and come back. Creates less problems for everybody, so. Okay. Mr. Chair, on parcel RPTHD 00300, I would move that we accept the assessor's recommendation of reducing the value, sorry, I lost it, to $793,698 with the reduction coming off of the improvement.
That was on the.
What the total value is.
Oh, sorry, there we go. 1.4120,023.
It's the total value,
Yes.
with the improvement being 931,803, and the value of the land 480,220. Okay.
Thank you.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Then we have Stallsmith. And this one, we've talked to him a couple times in the past. He just has to come in and file for the ag exemption. And until he files for the ag exemption, we can't give it to him. I mean, that's,
Has he turned in any kind of paperwork to demonstrate the beehives or anything?
He's told me about it, but no, he has not turned any in.
we've been talking about that for
And
years.
I took him over to our ag person, and I believe they grabbed forms, but I never saw them back,
Okay.
which it wouldn't have went for this year anyways. It would have went for 2025 if you got approved, but
All right. Yeah, when I was reading that one, I was trying to think about that. So, yeah.
So, parcel,
So just to be clear, this individual has not applied for the ag exemption.
Correct.
In the past, he has not supplied any of the evidence supporting his claim as a bee farm.
in the past, I don't know of, but he did not anytime in the present, no.
Okay, all right. Mr. Chair, on parcel RPR 385-102-8606, I move that we deny this until we have receipt of the ag exemption paperwork.
we have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That being said,
Mr. Chair, I move that we exit the BOE.
we have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And with that being said, we are done for the